listen, I made a box bounce, and it's pretty sweet. All right, this is this BQN array language. It's like a imagine you need a program to run some numbers real quick, and then at the speed of light. Basically, this language has got it. I'm using a RAID, which is a wrapper on BQN, and BQN is a game development library. I have it open here. I'm pretty sure. Yep. So this is the wrapper done by Brian Ed, and he wrapped raylib, which is of course a wonderful popular library. So nothing crazy here, and I'm pretty sure I just based it on one of the examples. So very little of this code is actually my own, but I'm going to take full credit for 100% of all this. So check this out. So I save my app here, and it should, once it decides to play with me here, what are we doing? There we go. I would double click sometimes. So check it out. So this is a bouncing DVD case. Imagine. So we got ourselves a little box changes colors as it bounces off the corners. We've seen this a million times. It's pretty sweet. And we're just doing it here in 34 lines of VQN, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna save this and get rid of this. So what this is doing is it's just high level. It's just importing RAID BQN, setting it up, defining a function that's gonna run per frame, and then just boogieing, just getting it done. So first things first here, we can see we import a bunch of raylib functions. So key from context clues alone, I'm assuming it's going to handle some sort of key input things, because I'm pretty sure I bound somewhere. Yeah, there you go, key escapes. So I wrote this back in March. It's April now, or not even April. It's October now. So it's been a little while, but I wrote it, so you never forget code you wrote. This is a import. So it's like, I don't know, Python or something. You just import the script. I've defined the entire import as R, which is typical in array programming. You don't use long names. And then of course here I use very long names, which is of course typical in my programming. Then we have ourselves a tuple almost that you define. It's called a list. It's a 2-element list. List is like a flat array, one-dimensional array. Don't worry about that. Just imagine we got 2 elements here, 50 and 30. I immediately unpack it as font size and speed. And then this is box color. Imagine this is again a 4-element tuple, but really it's a 4-element list. And it's red. In this case, it's just 4 numbers, but we're going to use it later on to be red, green, blue, alpha. Then we got our position and direction. The box is heading. So again, top left corner and heading down to the right. Again, no indication of that happening here, but just trust me, it works. So we have our width and height. So I want half my screen roughly. It doesn't matter. These weird braces here are basically the same thing as these underscore strands here. So this is, like I said, here we have a 2-element list. This is also a 2-element list, and it's also a 2-element list made up of those 2-element lists. So in theory, if we want to be confusing about it, I know we can do this, which is the same idea, and it's just an alternate syntax. I don't think this will actually, like, if I cancel this, does it prove anything? Yeah, okay, here, it's like done, maybe. Show done, just so we know we're starting. And at the start, we go, why am I having trouble? Typing is real easy, actually. You just gotta start doing it. My hand wasn't even in the right spot. Don't even worry about it. So here, start and done. Perfect, right? So we can, I don't think we need to go over this, but let's go font size, right? And then speed. Thank you, Copilot. Look at that. And then we just take the first one. It's straightforward so far. And of course, we're gonna call this, you know what? Let's even make our lives even harder here. Show A, and just to see, we have 2 things here. So we have our position and our direction. Perfect. All right. Intro done. Width and height divided by 2. So yeah, this is I think standard, hopefully. Okay, now this monster of a freak here. This is the like per loop logic. Per frame. So every frame in RAID lib has to return nothing basically, but it does something, and we'll get to what it does. But it takes, I call it font, but really it's just like the initial state. And we'll get to it, I guess. So we take some data. The first element we're unpacking. So S, okay, you know what? This is actually kind of tricky. So S, I can expand it, but it just means, let's not even get into it. Let's just trust that this is the definition of a syntax. So instead of def per frame in Python or whatever, actually, can we do this? We can't really. Imagine we're JavaScript. Const per frame equals that we will no, it'd be like this, right? Something like this. I'm trying to think of what it is and try to ignore Copilot's thing. So yeah, this is sort of what we got going on right now. Okay, in this per frame thing. Yeah, we're on track. We're not even lost at all. And then now the body of it is doing something. Basically, we just call. This is a function. It's function because it's capital, and it's just window.fps get fps, which is raylib's or raid wrapper around what I assume is a built-in in raylib. And because it's a function, it needs to be called. And in BQN, you can't call a function with nothing. You got to call with void or null, I should say. And this is just that symbol. So this is one thing that's happening here. Then we're calling repr, which is a system function, which is, I don't think I can get docs for it. No, I can't, but trust, it's like Python repr, like you get the representation of it. So because we're going to assume this gives us a number, we're going to get the... Actually, that's a great question. Why do I repr it if it's already going to be a number anyway, right? Can I, not while, can I just do this once? No, wait. Just once and close? Okay, it closed and then I lost it. Hold on. Let's not close it. Sorry, I'm debugging my own things here. Why is this? Why do I need to repr it? Yeah, it's the FPS. So, because wouldn't I use format? Does format make it too pretty? What am I doing here? Yeah, let's just assume I use format instead. So format. Oh, I just shouldn't have saved. Where are we at? So format is just taking a number and then turning it into a string. Easy. 1, 2, 3 to string or something in JavaScript, right? Then we're passing the result of that. So all of this, all of this, we're passing into this join function thing. So this guy is a join 2 actually. So we're joining 2. So you see here the example is you take 2 strings, join them together, make a new string. And then this little squiggly son of a gun right here is actually called, not the tilde, but the small tilde. And it's again the 2 argument one to W and X, the 2 arguments, swap. So instead of joining FPS or space FPS to the left of it, we're joining to the right, because without the space or without the swap, you'd get number and then prefixing the FPS. See, it's all messed up. It's terrible. Don't want that at all. Check it out. So now we're back to where we are. So now FPS is just now the string. So what we define here is the FPS is the string of the current FPS, which, as we saw, ticks up. Then we go to the next line. And just so we're clear, this one line is calling the FPS, formatting it, joining to a string in one character. That'd be like 3 or 4 lines in JavaScript or something. It's pretty crazy. It's nice that, it's sort of, foreign to look at, but it's nice. And then the whole thing. But anyway, get ahead of myself. So now we have our FPS text, right, which we call, and then we have this join function, well, pair. It's a bow tie, just in case you're wondering. And the pair takes 2 things and puts it in the list. So here's like 1 and 2 and join them together, the 2 list tuple thing we saw. Here it's joining a 1 and a string, and we got this, right? So we got our FPS, our string, and we're joining it to this function called get pause. Get the mouse pause. And because, so we're not just joining it. I was getting sunlocked there for a second, because we're not just joining it. We're using bind left, this little red thing. So the fact that it's red is a 2 modifier. It means like it takes two operands, 2 functions, or 2 anything. But let's get 2 functions, and then calls before being called like this, where W is left argument, X is the right argument. We have get position function called first, and then it gets paired with the left argument. I can't give a demo of that, I don't think, in any cool way. Can I just, is there a way to, no, the docs are all numbers. It's the example here is like the example is you subtract, this is how do I put this number here, this plus is actually got the negative argument, or the left argument is being negative first. So it's like it turns 2 into -2, and that's being added to 1. So -2 plus 1, but -2 plus 1 is -2. But again, hard to describe. Just imagine that whatever gets passed into this function here is now being filtered by getPause. Long story short, we're calling getPause first based on with anything, because it doesn't matter what we're calling it, because it doesn't give a hoot about what it's called. So if I even better did something, whatever. It's passing FPS to the getPause, but getPause like this doesn't care about what it's taking. We just have to give it something. Good? Easy. So this is going to give us, if I can show this, we're going to see when we're rendering. we're just going to get a bunch of stuff, right? So like this is the mouse position as I move my mouse, and then the FPS was the string. So now we have our tuple right now of a position and thing, and then we're going to call draw on it. So draw text is, you know, I assume RAID's version of raylibs, so it's just calling text on something, and we're passing it on the right the content, and then the left is like the arguments, so color, font, and font size, which we've defined up here. So I'm not going to change it for you, but imagine if I change it to 150, it'd be 150 pixels, I assume. Great. So that renders. And this is it's not a pure function, obviously, because BQN doesn't support that like out of the box. But so this is like calling a side effect function, which means it's doing something that isn't, you know, defined here, basically. So this is drawing, drawing stuff at the screen. Yeah, great. Now the next thing is happening is, now that we've got the position also, so the position is still the box position. That on the first loop of this, it doesn't need to be called A actually. Let's go back and just fix this first. But position is still 0, 0. So on the first loop of this, we got 0, 0, and now we're getting a little complicated again, where this is the tilde, which we discovered earlier, is swap. So whatever is on the left of it is being swapped, and this is a double chain of this. Remember how this pair function got pre-processed with get position. So this guy's left argument is being done with this stuff, and that this plus his left argument is being done with this stuff. So it's basically saying, if I'm understanding it, again, my own code written months ago, but easy to read, you know, it's definitely not Chinese to me here. This pair is joining whatever the left of it is with plus 100. So because it's from context, I'm trying to build a triangle, I would just want to, you know, add the origin plus the width and height, basically, is my guess. So position 0, 0, and then I join it with itself plus 100 on each number. And because in BQN is a RAID programming language, so it's pervasive. So like, you know, how can I demo this real quick? It's not super important, but if I do show range 10, right, or 10, this is going to give you numbers 1 through 10. If I add 10 to this, what do you think is going to happen? You're wrong. It's going to add 10 to every single one of them. Okay, it's pervasiveness. It's just how things work, I guess. So this is going to give us, if I go 13 down, if I go to this and I'm going to show this, it's going to be 100, 0, 0, or 100, 100, 0, 0 in the list, right? If I now once again go back here, let it start up. There you go. See, you have the position that is started up to some position, and then it's 100 increased of it. Neat. Okay. Totally understanding so far. Any questions? Didn't think so. So now rectangle only cares about one thing besides the position that we're passing on the right, is the configuration is the color, which we have defined above earlier here. Now, this is again another thing where we do two things, right? We say, this is, the comment says close escape, but really I check it for each one of these keys, if each one of these key values, if each one of them is pressed. So this is again a list, a two element list, which again could be written like this. We're having fun doing this. This is exactly the same, but I had the commas because it's probably a symptom of how I started off the code in the first place, but ignore that. The point is we have a tuple or a list of keys here, and for each one, so these two dots here means like it's like a map or a for each almost, where it's going for every element in this list, with two element list, call is pressed on them. So basically we ask raylib or raid, I guess, if the Q is pressed, or if Q or escape is pressed, and if it is, returns 1, if not, it returns 0. And then from there, this is another combination thing, right? Where we have our fold, like fold or reduce in JavaScript. You got it, and Elm and all that stuff. You have it. It's you iterate through elements of an array and return a final object. So the function that we're using to iterate over them is or. So, you know, 1 or 0, or one of them is true, so it's true. So basically this is saying, if any of them are true, then we get a 1 back from all this. From all this we get a 1 back. So what we're doing with that number, so we're saying, all right, so this function here is identity function, which means just return. This is so much stuff. You just return what you've got given to it, right? So you can see, right identity of this is returning x. X is the only argument. If there's 2 arguments, we just return the right one, but we're not worried about that right now. So just in this case, If we get a 1 back, if we give it a 1, we get a 1. If we give it a 0, we get a 0 back. That's required because this little star bad boy here, this guy is a repeat function or modifier. So this takes a function and another function and calls f, the left function, as many times as g allows. And so because this identity function just passes back what you give it, this is basically saying repeat this 1 or 0 times, aka conditionals, aka if, almost, right? So if key is pressed, oh, my headphones are low battery. Excuse me while I can't hear myself because the lady's talking in my ear about telling me my battery that I don't need to know about right now. Anyway, close. So we say if you key or Q or escape is pressed, we close. Otherwise, we move on. Easy, right? So, you know, whether you find if key is pressed or, you know, is pressed key Q or something, more readable, you know, it's up to you. Window.close or whatever. Like that's basically what we're doing here for both escape. It's kind of what we're doing here. Ignore this guy. Well, then of course need this, but that's not important. And if we're doing this anyway, we probably want semicolons. So we're that's basically what these two lines are doing. Easy. Now we get a little complicated. Okay, so this is a new function we're defining inline, where it's well, the name of it is flip a function. If I'm being a real programmer, it's called f or something. But this is an inline function, and sort of how this is the whole function here. We got our local function based inside here, and it's gonna tell us if I can't read this at a glance, but I know from writing it and ideas is that checking these numbers, it's trying to find which number is less than 0 or, you know, I don't know, actually. Oh, okay. Okay, so if let's break this down here. So again, we got ourselves the repeat thing, but let's see if I can clean this up. Maybe is there a way to write this a little nicer? So this is a fun thing, right? So you you look for the chunks, I guess, right? So this is a function here, and x, if we look at it, is the position, which is like the starts off 0 0 and increases. Yeah, we haven't increased it, but start off 0 0, and then w is the width and height of the rectangle. And this is actually a criticism I've got of array languages, at least in my nascency in learning here, is I can't tell always what the scope of things are unless I read more of the code. But I guess they might say that because you read it all in context anyway, it doesn't matter as much. But I could have like literally just named functions, right? I could have said width, height, and then pos here, and I could have just duplicated the names, and then that maybe would have also increased legibility. This should be exactly the same. Okay, I'm gonna even test it. Yeah, it still works exactly the same. So sure, it's not criticism anymore. It's my own fault. And I guess, you know what, thinking about it further, it doesn't matter if it's a function or not, right? Because this is, I think I just wanted to use it to avoid writing pos a bunch. Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, so x is the right argument, w is left argument, right argument. And this is saying, why is 1 here? Does it matter? Yeah, this doesn't matter at all. I think this could be any number. I think it would matter, right? Oh, it does. Huh. Huh. Well, I don't want to think about that too much, I guess. For the sake of the demo. One more time. If I just change this to, if I change it to 0, what do we get? Where are we at here? Find 1, place 0, save file. Yeah. So, Unclear to me. Because this okay, I'm gonna go on from here. Let's pretend. So this is saying if position any element in position is less than 0, or the width minus 100, because width, the size of the rectangle is 100. We didn't really count that, but if the size of the rectangle is greater than any position in any point in position, right? So because the box is that wide, we need to shrink the widths and height that much to know that the other edge of the box is bouncing. Otherwise, without the minus 100, I remember the box would just go out of bounds. So let's just see that here as we go live here. Can I? There you go. So you'll see it'll only bounce when it hits the very top right corner. I'm still thinking about why this works like that, or why the. It's not like this function cares about its argument, so I don't understand why this would change anything. Oh my goodness, I forgot. So right, so repeat the star function here. Remember, I can put this on. I should the whole time. So repeat here, takes this thing, runs the argument on. Because this is a modifier that takes in a value and builds a function. This is in a function that takes a value, and it first runs g on it, the second argument, and then it takes this number and runs this on it that many times. This is either true or false, and then if it's false, it's just 1. So sorry, if it's false, this left heart doesn't get run, so flip it bounce returns true. If this is true, then this gets run, so this turns into -1, and then we just say -1 times the direction, and then we just invert the direction. But I remember this sort of. The trick is the position has to get flipped individually, right? Because okay, this is now, once again, I'm gonna save it and just run it again. Hopefully it goes. Come on, buddy, do your best. So see how that was just flipping. Yeah, see how that's just flipping the that flips the y, that flips the x, flips y, flips y, flips x, y. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not flipping both. Now now I'm confused. Is it because it's pervasive? Is that what the idea is? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Good. So I guess I should have known this, but how we doing on time, by the way? This has been a little while here. 23 minutes, almost done. So because it's an array language, position and the width and height are both two-element arrays, and so all these things so far can run on two things arrays. So I pass in a million things into this list. The thing of it getting, if I send in a million element list, I can get a million list out, and all of them will be compared against equally. Can I prove that even more here while I'm going? Can I should just close this. Q escape, perfect. I'm gonna go back down to this. We don't want to see this right now, right? So if I do if I show range of 10, right? And I say which ones are less than 5 or something. So we'll see that less or equal to 5. So you know that's it. So in this case, because I'm basically saying here from 19. Did I just zoom in? I didn't even notice. I blinked. 1920 by 1080 divided by 2, but ignore that. And then I say less than width minus 100, or less than position minus 100. So I say less than position being 0. Let's say, well, whatever. Position 0, 0, it doesn't matter. But so now this is actually doing per element. So is this element less than this element? And then 1080 is saying, is this element less than this element? And this is the top left corner of the rectangle down here. Goodness gracious, explaining things is tricky. So hopefully that makes sense. My function name was awful. So it's more like flip. Well, it's flip element if bounced, and then we because we return a 1 or a -1. It's basically flip the rate of the thing, the index of things. Right, and again, once again, I'm just going to show you again that this is just a bunch of 1s and 0s, and when it for the 1 second it flips. Can I go up if it does flip? It'll be a -1 somewhere, presumably. Yeah, you can see it flicker for a second. If I scroll up, we find a -1, but trust me, it was there. We saw it flicker. It's gone. It's gone. We'll never find it again. It's flickering. It's flickering. Okay. Easy. This has been easy and easy to follow. Good job, dude. So let's get rid of this again. Don't need this. Halfway there. Halfway there. So this is still a complicated line, right? We can just see the comments. Luckily, I commented this. I'm told in Henry of J Software talks a lot about how comments are important. You can find that out here live. So this is now a this line is a not equals, sort of like a triple equals in JavaScript, where every element, not really. The idea is instead of an element wise equality, we can do like the same thing again. We have 1920 by and 1080, right? And then we have equal to itself or something. I don't know if this is going to be a good example. But you can see here, this is a single, like a 2-bar equal. That's the name of it. It's just called the equal sign. And then what's this one called? Identical to. It's basically, instead of checking, it's pervasive or whatever, right? It's checking every element to the same idea, right? So saying 1920 is not equal to 123, but 180 is equal to 180. Whereas if I do this, I'm saying is the whole thing equal to the thing. It just gives me back a 1 or 0 as a whole. And then same with not equals. Or not match and match, I guess. Cool. So we're saying, does the new direction not equal the old direction? And then based on the conditionals, we do something. We do this other inline function. Because it's got to be whatever. So this is a conditional. So based on this, if this is true, then we do this. Otherwise, we do nothing. And what we're saying here is, in this function, first line is assign dir, so the global, to the new direction. And the new direction is what's flipped here. So we even though we change it locally here, we don't actually like apply it on the larger outer scope function. So on the next iteration of this per frame function, it's still the old value. And here it's the same. So this little guy here is like a semicolon almost. 21. So this, can I not? Well, you can see here it's a separator. I guess there's no docs for it in the LSP, but yeah, it's a separator. It's the same as doing this basically. Actually, same with a comma. Is that true? I don't know if that's true. But it's a. I think the comma is not parsed, whereas the separator starts a new line. Anyway, so now here we're also mutating global state, where we're assigning box color the result of 3 numbers in the range of 255. So let's just do that again. So this is 3 numbers in the random range of 255, right? So we're just randomly picking 3 numbers, and this again go all as big as you want to give us a new color, and we're joining it with the 4th color alpha of this. So it's always going to be fully opaque, fully transparent. The one so you can see it, right? So and that was easy. So let's just make this a little easier, I guess, if we're trying to learn here. We can call this actually func for now because we like good names. And we say func. And this is the identity, right? So this is just saying give back whatever you got. And let's just fact check that I didn't break anything. I almost certainly did not, but double checking. Yeah, it's still working just as great. Do we have a show? Oops. We have a show somewhere. There it is. Thank you for getting into that. So that's our nice little function here. And then this is just so this is the same idea. So this is the reassigning, the change function. I don't think it's a function. I think it's a keyword. But anyway, it's sort of how this one is assigning dir to this new direction. We could also have done, well, whatever. It's basically saying, this one is saying, instead of, it's a shorthand, I guess, for this pos, I guess, is equivalent. These 2 lines are equivalent. And you're just saving some characters. So we're saying, take the result of this and take pos and reassign it. So we're saying pos plus the direction times speed. So it's sort of like what you'd expect. What you'd expect. So if we're going down right, the speed per bounce or whatever is 3, so it goes 3 pixels per frame. And then this is again the argument that just means whatever this argument was, but we don't care about this, even though we might, you know, it's just a pattern we've done every time where we don't actually care about all the details our API has given us. I don't actually know what the argument is. Well, of course, it's the font thing, right? It's the font. And if we, okay, yeah, good. Okay, so so our draw function, our per frame function, okay, our per frame function is this as the left argument for this, and the right argument of our per frame function is we're just saying with canvas, which I'm gonna assume is RAID BQN's version of with fill of 16 16 comma 16 comma 16 plus 255. So again, this is an alternative way. this is saying this thing is reshape. So this is saying take 16 and put it 3 times. So we're gonna copy paste. We're gonna go back here. We're gonna say here, right? Perfect. So we have 3 16s. We have 1. You know, so we have 2, and we join it to 255 to give us the list of things. And then, of course, the shape of this, the length of this, is 4. So RGBA. So I want to change the background, for example. I can make it all white, but making 3 white colors. Let's see how that looks. Very good. Easy. And then finally, yeah, we just have the startup. So because our function here we define window.open as. I'm sure you could just have open if I guessed. Can I guess actually? Is that a fair guess? Non-modifier. Yeah, okay, yeah. So it doesn't take a interesting. Yeah, so without the title, it just, because null is just, it can be whatever we want, I guess, but it doesn't ignore it. Right? I think it'll be fine. FFI, oh, there you go. We're not gonna get into it, but FFI will complain. So if you don't give it nothing. If you don't give it actually, if you don't give it a character, will that work? If you do give it a character, is that also equivalent? Come on. Just thinking about it. Perfect. I should say the reason it's slow, the reason reloading is slow is just because the way Raylib works with this. Normally when you reload like BQN and stuff, it's super fast, which is really awesome. So like if I do this and I get rid of the stuff, like I can rerun, like I said, like I showed earlier, like the 100 rand range or whatever. 1, I think. This work? Does that work? How do you? Is it just random? There's a way to do this. Whatever. The point is, if I do this for you know, it's really fast. And I can just reload over and over again, and I can even do like, I don't know, a bunch of numbers, and I just the iteration speed. Actually, the reason that's slow is just because it's printing. I think the actual instance of it, yeah, I see 1.23 million numbers comes back that fast. It's really cool. Really cool. You can also, whatever, over here, you can also do this. You can also just put underscores, make it easier. So I'm getting that many numbers. And if I just take the first, let's take the first 10 of them, so you can just see, and we could mess with them all we want. We got 1,000 of them. It's not going to prove anything, actually, but we're going to be able to get a lot of numbers there. Okay. So, I think, so, yeah, we're good. We set the size of the windows on startup. We load the fonts, because that's, I guess, what you got to do in Raylib. And then we just check every frame whether we should close or not. And this is set in Raylib because we define here, up here, where we say close is true. If we didn't check this, I think this would always run, right? Even though we told Raylib to close, it's still going to wait. If I say while 1, this will run forever, I think. Let's see. Hit escape. Oh no, that worked immediately. Huh. Who knows? Not familiar with Raylib enough. That's it. So yeah, I mean, there you go. So relatively straightforward to just do. Whoops, I don't want to save again. Relatively straightforward to do this. You know, you just takes a bit to get used to it, but it's pretty cool. You can move pretty fast. I'm still hoping. It's been a little while, but I'm still hoping that as you get used to it, you can get easier and easier to read stuff like this that caught me up for a while. Like now that I know it, it's sort of fine, but I don't have the mind yet or whatever to read this and see immediately what it's doing. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's a lot of fun. I don't know how I'd make a game into this. I don't know. I'm doing some other stuff, some numerical stuff, and it's gone pretty well. And it's nice that I can get so much stuff done, but it's kind of tricky to see how much I'd be lost if I didn't have all this stuff built with it, you know? Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying these a lot.